everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're taking a look at Maestro by 17. We have a choreography version and a choreography video that's basically a full cam. Very excited for this because this is my technical first comeback with 17 since marathoning them back in November of 2023. So I have had a lot of fun taking a look at their movement quality over the years at an expedited rate, and being able to see them in recent times versus years and years ago is going to be really cool. So I'm pretty pumped. Let's go ahead and check it out. That was fun. That mess right there. These are good textiles for this type of choreo, meaning their fits. Dope. Eee. Woo! Come on. Whoa. Those silver gloves make one heck of a difference in that peel out. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, those corners were really cool. La 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 la. They take it and snake it through. And there's a lot of these tension releases, but in subtle ways. It's really dope. I think the 8 section got most people in a chokehold in the music video. That's what I was seeing in on my shorts algorithm. Dope. This part is house out the wazoo, which is so interesting because the BPM is so much faster than a typical like house BPM. You would do a lot of these choices. Fun. Wow. And the that was really fun. I really like choreo versions that have you go through the different locations of the music video. It's super fitting, and we're able to really see a lot of the cool choices that honestly I was just kind of waiting on. You know what I mean? Where what happens during Wanu's section, you know, because it's an action movie in the music video and there's no content, but here you showed symptoms of what was happening in the breakdown rave section there, which I really like. So we have the full cam right here. It looks like it's going to be a one take, which I have zero issues with. This will most likely be the one that we do an analysis on. Definitely you can see it's way more condensed in the formations. That whole beginning for sure. Honestly, the formations are pretty simplistic. And some of the content buildups are really nice, but there's a lot of unison too. And I know they're right in the middle of a concert tour, so prepping for this with a concert tour, it's always impressive. I was curious about that too, because Vernon does it such a particular way with his arms in comparison to whenever you see Mingyu do it in course 2, but because of how the zoom in on the camera shot is, it makes it its own moment, which is cool. I was just curious how it looked like with everybody else. Maestro, This part's really fun. I'm excited to talk all of these little house influences, the heel toes. There's our dancers. I was curious when they're coming in. This part with the gloves in the choreo version is probably one of the best highlights of the whole thing. It's gorgeous. Love the dancers in that part. Nice. Maestro, na na. It does feel like we have more individuality in how we choose to snake out of that in the course, which makes me feel comforted that I don't have to do it just like them. This one does have a little bit more freedom as long as the fingerprints or the blueprints are matched in the actual choreo. Once again, just more of a spread out. I mean, barely windows, if that. That's so fascinating to me. I would say this one has the most minimal. There's a loose leg, double tap. That little heel toe thing is similar to what you see in Rise is Impossible. Only reason why I know that is because I saw Torch cover that excerpt, and it looks so similar to what he did for that. Love the mirroring on that. And honestly, part of me really likes the fact that we have girls on one side and guys on another side. It just adds an interesting balance to that part. Ba-da-da-da-da. Cool. This one does, if I'm being honest, it feels very much like this one was made for a cinematic perspective, because a lot of the formations are pretty simplistic in comparison to a lot of the other types of formations we encounter with 17. It's not like Songgong, even though they have a lot of numbers that kind of teeter close to that. But even then, Songgong is its own kind of beast. Mega Crew was the concept there. Here is definitely being a maestro, showcasing control. I really loved when you had our two groups with the in the white, like having them in the corners and then having two of the members control them differently and hitting different parts of the music. I really love that section. It's super cool. Okay, from the top. So I am looking at this, like I said, from the lens. I understand that they are right in the middle of a concert tour. I understand this. Or they just concluded it, or they are still on it. I just don't know where. They also have two members that are still recovering from injuries, or that they just have to be very, very mindful and careful of how they do a lot of these choices, which I find shocking that we're having S-Coops do a freaking house excerpts. But I'm curious. Oh, you know what? I just realized they have S-Coops and Jonghyun doing the controlling on the two sides. That during that first house section. I just made the connection there. Look at that. But, I mean, going back in the choreography version, there's certain elements that were very captivating, like I said, with the dancers coming in with the silver gloves. The reason why that part looked so captivating and eye-catching is it did remind me of, there was a mega crew called DM Nation from 2022, Hip Hop International. They represented Canada. They ended up taking the gold medal, and rightfully so. We don't have to talk about that here. But it did remind me of that, because there's a huge risk-taking that does come into when you choose to wear gloves, or gloves of a color that really shines, or like literally shines, or it becomes a natural focal point, because the risk is, if I'm off, I can see it, but it adds a whole nother degree of captivation if everybody can be on it. And so in the choreography video, not this one but the other one, very much on it, and it was so beautiful to see. And I liked seeing it in the like concert auditorium, but I really liked seeing it in the choreography version. I think how they set it up there was really nice. But we're here for the one take vibes, so we're gonna sit and we're gonna take a watch here from the top. All of this really truly feels very condensed in the formation side. It doesn't feel like feels like we're kind of trapped in this little box almost with all of these members trying to fit them in. But it could also be some of the formation choices. I know there's going to be an inside 17 that gets released on this one, I hope, so we're able to see a little bit more understanding of what's going on. But it does feel like we do have structure of the formations, but because, I don't know, maybe it's because there's not a ton of levels between the members, it's hard to appreciate some of the upper body choices of individuality, but that could be just more of a preferential thing for me. I do like in the beginning, I think that's Hoshi, there's subtlety that comes, I believe it comes from the shoulder and then it drops down to the knee. So it goes, they travel the energy from the right side, boom, travel it through the head, then they do the shoulders, then they do a nice little roll down, very subtle, then they roll, nice, just wave out the bottom. Everybody, you could tell some of them are going a little bit lower than others. Hitting it through, ding ding, and I know they do end up doing their 17 right here. Excerpt there, but I like how they left their head where it was to continue on with what's going on with the choices of the hands and looking not at the hands until they're ready to bring the energy back. I love those choices because it showcases maturity of movement and confidence of, I know where I'm supposed to end up. I don't have to look to verify. I love that. It's a subconscious way for us as viewers to go, they know what's going on. Looks really fun. Of course, you have one of your conductors. My gut's telling me it's Hoshi based on the choreography version. Am I going to play guessing game scavenger hunt? Probably. I mean, of course, we have to play Where's Waldo with Mingyu because that is my Waldo of the group. And I think it is my guy right here. And part of it is because of how he wears his ball cap. It's similar to how Mingyu wears his ball cap. But I digress. Will I name everybody? I don't know. We will see if the stars align to be so. But I like the picking up D, 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 D. I really like the isolation of the fingers to hit the piano notes really nice. It just hits the notes in a different way. Kind of in opposition of what you normally see. Everybody resets to the front. Like the boom, dun dun, little tap tap does feel very, reminds me of the Aristocats almost with that kind of Broadway-esque vibes, which I think is really fun. That like feline, you know, suaveness of a, not jazz club, but it's like that kind of niche, not quite like underground jazz club, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm saying random words, but in my brain it makes sense. It doesn't mean that others have to relate to that. That's just my own personal perspective. But I like the pull through. I like the intention from Hoshi, how he's grabbing it from the index fingers as he pulls it. Now, if I'm being real, are these like legit conductor motions? I feel like it's nuanced, but I don't think he could get an orchestra to do many exciting things with his actions. But I know that's mostly for fun and for like a fun little prop than anything. The LED is freaking dope in the choreo video and in the music video, especially with Theate's violin with the LEDs. Sick. I think that's probably one of the coolest visual effects in the whole thing. Anyway, but I like the pull once again, and then Hoshi takes his arms. It's still very subtle, so it does appear like he's controlling them. They're taking their leg, expanding it around, allowing the rock to promote forth with the upper body, take it through, but instead of enveloping or bringing it back up, they actually end up reversing it. So I really like that choice, and they reverse exactly what they did, expand it out. Hoshi definitely has a bigger pickup of the foot as they take it through, do-do-do-do-do-do, so they go in, out, they take the energy, travel it up, bringing it through, and then right here, that 17 right here. Yeah, 17 right here. So that's like their logo, right, that they do, their hand mannerisms. But look at the formation choice. It's so fascinating how condensed this is. So I wonder if they discuss this, because I'm not used to seeing them be so smushed like this, really, ever. I mean, even whenever I would see Call, 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 and that was a concert one, it didn't feel this condensed with the members either. It felt, you know, there was very clear on the structure. So I'm very curious as to why this is the formation choice we ended up going with outside of the choreography video, because maybe the camera shots, whenever you expand it out, or if an aerial shot, it just looks different. But that, I do have more questions than answers at this point. Like, you have a small group here, but it is hard to appreciate the small group because the deviation of the angles is subtle, but not big enough for me to really see the difference between the two groups. So that's my note there. Let me see, my bad. My apologies. I like the choice, boom, da-na-na, and then I like the pull right there with the chest, really nice. Bong, and then of course I think who is that? S Coops maybe is who that was. He goes and walks, and then of course you have a nice little group there. Boom, boom, and notice his hands are very similar to what they showcased in the beginning. So I like that they kind of folded it over, a little trace through. I love that, and their stylized hands do make a difference in how it comes across in all of their mannerisms, and so I like the intention from everybody in that regard. They're pulling it up, nice. They go, turn around. I do know this is like, it feels very much like a concert walkthrough. It reminds me of Megaverse by Stray Kids when I watched that, and I will hold it low key to a similar, you know, standard as that. With the artists, I don't really like go super hard on in that regard, but the dancers need to really hold it down. Because that's their job. But for them, doing a little walkthrough to make sure they have their blocking is fine. But a dancer running through, I personally feel they need to put in a little bit more effort on videos like this in order to keep the integrity of the intention of the choreo, or we shouldn't be posting this. It's just it could be a hot take, and that's fine. And it doesn't matter if you're 17 or if you're a Heidi-Ho rookie group. I really feel like all of them should be treated the same, or the company needs to not post it. You know, wait till they get in the dance practice space to really post a good run, because 17 is known for synchronicity as well. So you're going to have people that are going to naturally expect that of them. Like myself, I expect it, but I also have something built in my brain to know that this is a concert run through where we're not expecting everybody to look crisp and clean. That's what the choreo version looks like, right? And they definitely were. But there's still deviations that we're going to talk about in the course, but they're not enough for me to be like, that should be cleaner. I don't think that's the point of this. And especially knowing we have different injuries in play, it makes sense. Why should we expect that of everybody when not everybody's on even playing field in terms of their physicality and their healthiness within that? I think that's completely unnecessary because they're human at the end of the day, you know? But I do, once again, my biggest note is just the interesting choices in the formations. They're picking up da-da-da-da, and then we have a different group come out. It's another trio here, but then this group absorbs back very nicely into the other group. So maybe the first group, when they expanded, it just was a little bit too much in the overlap, because here you do have a very clean separation between what's going on in this group and then my trio. But in the first time, you saw there was a huge overlap between the two, so it was hard to really know who I was supposed to be looking at. So I'll just chalk it up to just this run through. It could be that. I like the throw there. They go, pick it out, da-da-da-Joe, and then they pick up the arms. Nice little iso between the hips and the chest. Isolation with the opposition of the arms looks really nice. Bringing it arms back with my other group. Boom. Nice little rock back. Super fun. Little pull here. Expand out. There's a little Harlem Shake, D-D-D-D. That was fun seeing that in the other version, but it's nice seeing that here. Notice with S Coops, he picks his arms up a little bit more, but because he's our feature in that moment, it makes, you know, he can deviate a little bit, but the other two, I would say that's Wanu and Hoshi is who that looks like. Those two are very similar in how they're choosing to do the Harlem Shake with their arm placement, so I think that's pretty cool. Everybody expands out to the side, even with their weight placement is freaking locked and loaded, so I really love that. Sliding it in very cleanly into two columns looks great. Of course, they could be a little bit cleaner, but I don't really care about that. It looks clean when it needs to, which is in those visuals. This is, once again, concert run through. It is what it is. And then this is Joshua, right? Nice snaps. You do notice, though, between the two groups, this group, it could be because they have short sleeves and we see it, but how much higher their side is and their snaps than to this side. This side, it kind of feels like we have maybe about half give or take 3 to 6 inches difference on average between, not in the height, but in the actual lifting of the arm. So it does feel a bit imbalanced between the two sides, but also it feels like this group's more upright and this group is more leaned and tilted, but it could just be the influence of who's in the direct front. Now this part right there, we do end up seeing something similar to that infiltrates in other sections of the choreo, so I'm excited to see how that's fingerprinted throughout, but I do see that fun version from him. Switch, which is nice. I love the opposition. Ooh, that's crisp. That's really nice. I love seeing that. They're bringing it through. Love that. And then they open and expand it up. Little peekaboo action happening between the members. Bringing it back in, and then they transition out of it, which is nice. Then nice little hops happening right here. I'm assuming this is Vernon right here. They call him, transition it out. It's not really a curtain transition like what I normally see when you have a line of individuals and then they expand out. Here they go from the columns. You have some that come around the back and then they expand out. Super fun. I like this part. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Nice little just dip with the hips. And then a little body roll happening with the body. Looks great. You have Vernon living his life. Love it. That's fun. Cool. I like it. Da 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 da. Looks great here too. Yeah, boom, boom. Nice little chest accent there as well. There's subtlety happening here. I really like it. So this is Uzi. You have two of them. Peace. They're going off stage. My gut tells me, looking at who's here, it's most likely going to be Junghan and S-Coops that have gone off stage. Cool. Makes sense. Love it. The subtlety of this is really nice. Da-na-na. Cool. They're digging it through, and then they take it. Notice that they trace it down, and as this upper body resets, it naturally wants to guide that hand to the right thigh. They take it through, bringing it through, and they're still allowing the chest to kind of give it a little bit extra, not rotation, but influence in that particular trace, which I really like. And then they take it through the chest. Looks really nice. That accent, boom, boom. They double up the hands, but the leg just reinstates, matches the base well. Uzi is still modifying choreo because he's in the center, and it makes sense because he's a feature there. Hit, hit, boom. Nice little pull on that as well. Digging through, boom, boom. I love that. Looks great. Then you have that ding, subtlety on that. Like it tension build up on that second one. Looks really nice. And it hits on na na na. So notice he holds out that second note very well. So having that hold and that second movement in that little dig does make it feel more complementary to the sound context, which I really like. I love this here. Now this is DK's section. Now he didn't really have a dance section in his portion, so this feels newer, right? So I like that part. And it's a really dope canon from every other, it looks like. Cool, yeah. So I like that choice. Let's talk about it. It feels, it could be a DK choice of what he chose to do, because look, well, he's here. He keeps his arms up. Then he swings it around to kind of go with the first group. So technically DK is repping up with the first group right here, right? But he deviates and makes his own choices, but he ends up doing kind of the same thing. Then your second group, that's a part of the canon. The canon is different than a ripple. A ripple is one movement that travels across a group of individuals. So it would be he does a move and then he does the same move and then he does the move. But what ends up happening is, in this case, it's a canon, which whatever happens in the first group, when they're on move number 2, this group is on move number 1. And then when this group's on move 2, they're on 1, they're on 3. So I think that's kind of like, that's kind of how it works. And then so it's a sequence of movements that have a different start and finish, essentially, is what a canon in a nutshell is. You can go be curious. There's different names for different types of canons. I like this one. It's cool. It's pretty clean cut. It's pretty simple. Honestly, I like it. I like the expansion of that. So if you actually look at it, great on the angles. You have to make sure your angles are pretty clean in order for us to really see that you are complementing a mirror on the other side. And so you have to make sure your upper body is kind of in the right ballpark for that. And once you do see that, some of our, I would say honestly, our last group, it felt like some of them held out the tension a little bit longer than some of the other part of the group did. But I like it though, because that's a trickier kind of texture to justify in a canon. Normally you don't see that as a sequence of moves. You normally see it as a unison move, which is what you end up seeing in the chorus, but it's nice to see it there. So that was cool. Creating nice tension here. Then they take the energy, whoo, and then they swing that leg. Love it. Expand that around. So they establish where their leg's going, and then they allow the upper body to infiltrate and use the kinesphere more accordingly. They take the hand, they take it through the forehead. Looks nice. Drive that car, boys. Then they take it behind. Da, da, da. Very nice. It takes it behind his back. Da, da, da. So this time, they bring it down to match his lower note on that part. Yes, this, and that's his part, and he does a nice little, deviation from everybody else. My maestro, ding, 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 cool. No, he throws it, everybody swings through. Of course, you have Hoshi and Vernon switch on this. Now, I noticed this every time, even in the music video. Vernon deviates from the choreo every time I see it. And I think that's fine, but he's so stylized in it, and the reason why it caught me off guard is because in my head I'm like, how in the world is he traveling it down? Because his choice is so textured, meaning that it's so implicitly fluent in his choice to snake it and travel it down his body. I was like, I don't know if that was a taught thing. So it made me curious what the actual blueprint choreo of this sequence was. And you do end up seeing it when Mingyu does it in course 2, and when the dancers do it. You can see that each one has a subtle difference in how they do the snake part. So we'll probably really talk about it there, but I do want us to notice how Vernon does it here. So the pull is la 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 la, and like the twinkling once again. So we have the thumbs pressing down. You have some take a more, oh, not thumbs down, go away bubble, I like this, the fullness and openness, but notice some take a more, you know, arched approach, some take a more just rock approach to the side. So that's different. It's nice seeing this. Now this la la la, it feels like we're doing like a little, not like an overhead, but it kind of feels like in the family of that, or just a, you know, twirl almost in that sense. Arm twirl, la 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 la, and we take it and we trace it down, which makes sense to complement a lot of the traces we had already done. Pick up the leg, the stomp there, boom, and we drop it down, ding ding, then we take it through, we scoop up that leg, and then from there, it causes a nice little body roll, nice subtlety in switching the weight between the front and the back foot. We do a nice little tap to reestablish that, and they hit it once again. So it's just different. So a lot of times it's more heaviness of the foot, it's heaviness in the chest. So they're catering the bass in different parts of their body through the usage of weight shifts and transitions. So I really like that. Or they're taking the energy and they're making it very accessible. So they're transferring it, and they show us the transfer of the weight going from the heaviness of the legs up to the heaviness of the chest or the core, and that a lot of times has to deal with the traces. So a trace is essentially, if you've ever, you know, traced something on paper where it's an outline and you just trace over it, so it's something that already exists. So if I am doing a wave or something like that, where I have energy that I want to go from my hand down to my leg, I'm going to let my arm help showcase and guide whoever's watching me, hey, my energy is right here, and then I'm about to travel it all the way down. We see it a lot in waving. I use it a lot in waving, and so it's easier to pick up for me personally because I'm so exposed to it in my own line of work. Now, I digress from here. It's nice to see it. I like the subtlety of this, but notice what they're doing. They're going to be twinkling. They're kind of opening here, tension, and then they open up the hand. So they're not fully like playing an instrument like what you would see from, what is it, like Baby Monster Sheesh. They do something like that. B-A-B-Y-M-O-N. This one is more so the tension, and they slowly open it up. So I made the note in the choreo version. I really like this, where it has this really tense legato, and they open it up like it kind of feels like a kettle that doesn't have a spout to let go of the air, and then all of a sudden you let that air go and it goes whoosh. Kind of feels like that. I really like that subtlety. It's fun, and it does match a lot of some of their other choices that they made earlier on in the visual. So that's cool. And from there, la 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 la, so they let the head go. That definitely feels pretty playful, but not like youthful playful, but maybe mischievous at a jazz, like a jazz club mischievous, if that makes sense. Not quite like club, like jazz club, I guess is the best way to put it, but that's just the genre. Then you have my maestro, and then you have Hoshi has his little conductor stick. And then they drop it down. So it feels like we're doing a little bit of puppeting influence, and that's more of a boogaloo style. Then they invert down, head isolation, they take the body. Now my note there, of course, I haven't quite seen this crisp and clean on either version of going the head and then allowing the head to stay isolated. But I really like the sentiment choice there. It's clear, they go pop, so they actually flex and accent that leg out, boom, boom, and then they set up maestro, and then they bleed that energy, roll it down, then we head, boom, and then they take it through. So maybe the secondary part is not really a head ISO. The first part is, this may not be a full head ISO because I don't really see anybody do that. Or I think it was just the sentiment of the hands to bring it around. Now here. Now this is really nice, and I think it's Dino section, right? The midnight, boom. Look at that, you take your hand. I like how they're looking at it. They take that other hand, they drop it behind them. They swing it, dee-dee-dee. So it's very full. It does, you know, there's a lot of push in the hips with the rotation of the legs out to create a really nice full squatted position promoting forward, which I really like. I like that part. Do 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 do. Energy, once again, energy is being brought right here into the core. I did hear the BB Trip and Ambata were a part of the process of this, but I don't know all of the hands that were on this choreo. It does feel, I mean, it does feel different than like a typical Choi Young-jun choreo on 17. I do like some of the changes, but there are some things that I really like that Choi Young-jun has fingerprinted and formatted in a 17 track. That it's just nice. It just feels comfortable, right? And part of me feels like don't fix what ain't broke, but there's nothing broken about this either. It's just a different like toolkit being utilized, which I like the style shift, because this is not the first time I've seen house recently as a style that's focused in choreo, and we're about to see a ton of house here, but just the BPM is what makes it feel so sporadic and different, but we'll get into that once it gets there. I like that the twinkling in. Notice that makes a lot of sense because they just created an openness earlier on and they end up closing it later on, which is cool. And the subtlety, boom, boom, cool, nice. They hit it through, do 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 do, cool. That little goodbye, I like that choice as well. This part feels very Bada. I mean, if I were to take a guess of what part she worked on, it's this right here. Ding, ding, boom, ding, ding. They double it up. So I like how we have this little hollow position, boom, boom, and we're using the back, that shoulder, and that lat to really make that a fun moment there. And then we have the my maestro, da, 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 da. And I like that part there. It's fun. Dee, 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 dee. Cool. They go. And now we have other groups coming back in. Nice little, honestly, I'd say vigorous jazz hands is fun. Do, 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 do. So if you didn't know, the BPM is, I think, at 154. And a lot of styles, I mean, really, when it comes to a dance style that kind of hangs out in that BPM range, is Latin ballroom, not house. House actually hangs out in the BPM range lower than the 150s. I think it taps out at like in the 130s. I could be wrong. I did look this up just out of sheer curiosity because I like learning about BPM ranges for styles because it helps you be able to find some correlation between songs that may not be necessarily like a house track or a popping track, but feel like you would want to pop to them or want to do house to them. BPM does play a role in that, I think. And so in this case, this is not this is not a house preference BPM, which is so interesting why we have house in this. It's not like Impossible by Rise. That one felt very fitting because of the other timbres and tonal colors put into it or the instrumentation that was used. In this case, no, it feels like a rave, which I'm here for. I'm all for a good time. I like the swing, ding, ding, ding. I like that choice when you have one of them, you know, he takes his arm, he's only doing a single, everybody else does both. And of course, you're doing a heel toe, bringing it out and in. It does feel heavy correlation between what we see in the dance break at the end. It's just a little tease into that foreshadowing, almost is a great way to word it. Heel toe, and then they extend that toe up, and then they switch it, so they have to roll that weight in from that toe, boom, to the other side to make it a fun moment. Then they do a nice little run through. Is that like I think some of them are ending up, what are they doing there? Yeah, it's just a nice little, you know, run, you know, like an MPG run. It kind of feels like that. And once again, I like the speed change from that. So everybody's going fast, 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 da, da, da. And then you have about 4 of them that are a little bit lower in the level. They showcase a difference between the different groupings. So you have a group of 2, group of 2, group of 2. Then you have your feature, which is Wonu. And then you have 4 that are down. So it is nice whenever you see this little grouping. This is something I have seen a lot in K-pop choreo at this point in time because I've seen a lot of it. I like it because it's a really fun way to showcase your feature without having everybody drop lower, and you still have some depth and usage of formations. But notice this is one of like the first times that we see heavy formation utilization or level utilization compared to the first bit, you know, and I find it interesting as an observation, which makes me think what logistics are in play here outside of what we're seeing right now that has influenced the formation structure of the whole beginning. Because I really don't feel like that was just, we ran out of time and we didn't know what to do. Unless that is the case, then I would love to see more insight into that, because sometimes that happens too. And then you have it once again switched out. Very nice. The commitment on both groups is what made that work. They have to make sure they match the speed change together and the switch together. That timing does matter, and they did hit it. Even though they're all hitting it slightly individualized in the upper body, I can still clearly see the level differentiation, which is what you want to see. I like the tension there, the da-da-da, da-da-da. That looks great. Yeah, hitting it through, and then I think we're looking at our hands, probably a wordplay thing there. They take it on the eyes. I love that. Now, this part, like I said, if you want to see this in the best format, watch the choreo version because of those silver freaking gloves. Incredible. But the peel out is good every single time I've seen it. So shout out to the dancers. This is what I mean by having a good concert shot. I mean, if the artists are off, I mean, they're not the cleanest they could be. Duh. Like, I really feel that way. That's fine. I'm not bothered by it. I would be bothered if the dancers were not giving 100% or they were kind of marking it through as well, unless they were specifically told by the company or by people, hey, mark it, but don't put it on YouTube as your choreography video. I'm not upset, but it's still something that, like, we can't not talk about it. If your company's going to upload it, at least your dancers need to hold it down, you know. That's just a side note. That's nothing to do with this, but it kind of does, because it doesn't bother me in the slightest, because look at the commitment from the dancers. They're all on the same page on their commitment level, and then with 17, they are on the same page of their commitment level, and it's okay if they're different, right? 17, people are there to see 17. The dancers are there to assist 17 in making the concert happen. Like, we understand our roles, so I appreciate that. Love the peel out again, and notice that they're hitting that do on the peel out, and then 17's hitting more of that bass underneath, which is really nice. June has more of that controlling setup there. They're creating beautiful, beautiful level representation while they are able to stay very subtle in this, and I love that. I love that little pop that happened from June. That was really cool. They're peeling out once again, but this is a little bit different than more of a curled kind of position. This one feels more open. It feels more stoic. This one feels a little bit more sharp, or more of a strike of energy. So I like that choice. They still expand it out. The commitment of where they're looking with their head is also really nice. You have more of a control taking place, boom, and then you have what 17's doing. There's a lot more to talk about here than in the very beginning, for sure. So so even the dancers end up doing a body roll before they transition. Everybody else does something more subtle. Notice their hands overlap what they did in the puppeting earlier, and they're just doing a little two steps there. They pick it up, usage of the rock to make it a little bit more full there. Then they go into two little groups here, which is fun. And then you have, I think that's Hoshi there with a conductor stick. Everybody, I mean, you have 17 that's lower, and then the dancers are higher. I love the contrast, and honestly, black and white go a long way on a video like this. Super dope. And then right there, they hold it out. Dancers expand to the outside to their two groupings. Then you have your two controllers, so it's S-Coops and Junghan. Very, very smart on the choreographer's part, so I really love that we have this here. We're probably going to have to go back to this 3 times just to talk about what each group's doing. We're going to talk about what's happening in the middle first, and then we'll expand outward. So you have Hoshi that's in the center and is featured. The outsides are complementing that. They're expanding the energy, hit around, down, and then new reveal. It looks like, who is that? Sungkwan. By the way, beret, such a good look for him. It really is. I love the tension and the build-up. So what's happening, I feel, is that 17 over here, they're controlling more of the tension and the breathability through the section that Sungkwan's being featured on. Sungkwan is singing, and he's also low-key conducting all of it, but his group is environmentally assisting him in holding it down as a feature. Love that part there. And once again, they have the nice twinkling in. These little fingers are appropriate fingerprints throughout because of a lot of those choices that are included throughout the choreo, which is really fun. And they take it, boom, they're pulsing once again. I love that build-up. Really nice. I like this here. Boom. Love that choice as well. And they nice tension there. And because my two outsides are now together, we're going to see what's happening in the control side. So they nice little, this is a little basket run. This basket run honestly did not bother me. Normally basket runs do. It's because they only took about 4 counts to set up, and there's a lot of action and energy happening in the middle to provide a proper distraction. So I think that was fun. They set it up nice levels. Now what's happening is they're mirrored, it looks like, or actually, it feels that both groups are doing the same side, but this group is carrying more towards the inside. They're panning the energy outside. Love that. That's cool. I like that. Honestly, I think everybody's doing the same thing with the arms, it looks like. And there's where it's different. Okay, so we break away. Sungkwan has more of a boom, breathe, tension building there. You have more of a violin influence here with a string here. They have more, honestly, it feels more, whacking or Vogue influence on this side over here. Reminds me of Mana Queen's Mega Cruise set, which I think is really fun. And they take it and they brush it around, and we have more of the fist in play. So it's such a difference in the hand choices, which is what sells this part. Love that. The dancers go, they twinkle in, and then our ladies go and they have a nice frame, and then they create a nice finger moment that matches what happened with 17 earlier with the eyes. I love the overlap here. Some people may say that there's too much of an overlap. I would disagree with that. For me, I feel like there's just enough in order to make the groups complement each other, but still really be different in their choices and what they're choosing to hit. So I'm a fan of it. It's cool. They branch it up. I like the head roll of everybody. Great level representation. I would say my note is this side over here definitely showcases a wider range of levels. And this side, it does feel like this side kind of tops out right here. And then we have 3 that are standing. So I would say you have some that are really, really like more crouching, then you have more of a lungy position and then a stand here. Pretty much everybody's in that squatted lungy position. They just have their feet closer together, which is why you don't see such a deeper kind of level change. So that would actually be my note to the dancers over here, is to provide a second level so it doesn't feel so condensed or compact in that first level. And then you, of course, with 17, you have a group of 5 and then a group of 6 at the top. So that would be 11, right? Because you have 13 members. Yep. And then you have a feature right here in the center. So it's cool. I like how the ladies have their arms up. Very stylized, guys. Rotate their head around. They bleed the head. And then the ladies rotate their head around. Fun. And then right there, it causes everybody to be on the same page again. So the guys do roll. So the guys do a roll and then they take the wave and they accent it over. Do I think it could be cleaner? I feel like this could be significantly cleaner. But once again, I really feel that the choreography version showcased cleanliness in these factors, which is why I'm not talking about it nearly as much. I'm just talking about the logistics of it being on this stage specifically, in comparison to whenever you are in front of a camera that can do mini cool keyframe shots. Because even then, it feels like some of these shots with the camera felt like they had to do speed changes in the choreography version, but I could be wrong. At least in the music video, I do feel that. Watch Jordan Orme's music video dive, because I agree with him. It feels like there was some speed changes that they had to modify the song when they were dancing to it to get some of these quick keyframe shots or those panning shots, which I love. But anyway, the fact I can talk about so much in just this little moment is really nice to appreciate. I really love the fact that I'm looking at real-time 17, knowing what I know, all that to say, and I can very quickly know who I'm talking about, and I know their names, and I'm not floundering about that as much. It feels more conversational. Dancers coming up, nice fist, nice and clear, fun. Nice. There's our basket run for there. I understand it only took about 2 counts to get to their spot. If it was a whole 8 count, I would say something, but because it was 2, I think it's fine. Everybody's nice and clean. Then it goes, my maestro, na, 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 na. That part, you have 17 do the first one, then the dancers join in the second one. Now the question is, do-do-do-doon, do-do-do-doon. What are they doing with their hands? It does feel like dee-dee-dee-dee. Oh, stop it, YouTube. I'm not gonna see it one more time, my bad. Da-da-da-da. It does feel like we have something extra that's happening in reverb to the hand, do-do-do-doon, to at least catch that do-do-do-doon, that marching, you know, not quad, but that do-do-doon, syncopated percussion choice. It kind of feels that, but there's no one that I can clock that I know exactly what they're doing, and that's fine, whatever, you know. And then you just have, who's that, Junghan? Everybody just drops nice and subtle. Then you have S-Koops and Junghan just walk. La la, not doing the chorus. I don't think they need to. La la la. Then this goes la 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 la. So let me find the traffic pattern here. Oh, la 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 la. So it doesn't travel down like I thought it did. I thought it was a snake. It technically is. So it goes la 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 la. Ooh. Okay, that feels way more bearable and easier to do than I was expecting it to be. Bring it up. Boom. La la. La la. It goes toe, heel. I do like the commitment to where the head is going. You're not looking straight front, so you gotta learn to commit. Cool. La 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 la. Yeah. La la. So it's like you're like crazy. La 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 la. They use the trace down similar to what you saw earlier in the tension building in the pre-chorus, which was nice. Picking it up. There's your reverb. Boom. Love that. Then you hand it to doon doon. Then you have the dancers join in, so they actually stay up. Love the subtle level change there. I love seeing that. Then everybody joins right back into the unison. I'm really happy about the fact that Junghan and S-Coups, they are technically mirrors, and they are transitioning mirrors. And so what helps contribute to the cleanliness is if they transition and get to their spots around the same time, because it feels very thorough and like a conscious decision. They're not just floundering and moving around to and fro. And it kind of felt like that in the beginning, not with them specifically, but switching between your features, it kind of felt, I don't know, it didn't feel like that part of the choreography was calibrated to the stage like this section is, if that makes sense. But I could be, there's once again, could be so many different logistical things that are happening that we are completely unaware of, and that is fine. That is the beauty of the industry, right? So I like that, taking it boom, doing really nice seeing this. What makes this work is it's significantly cleaner with everybody here than the first time they did it. So I liked seeing that, taking that leg, picking it up, boom, boom. I really like that. Shout out to June. I think June is really standing out to me and really engaging in a lot of these reverb vibration choices. He does it in his feature, and you see it here. He stands out of everybody right here. So if you go back and look, watch how he hits this part. Boom, and then going into a tense body roll out of it. Really nice. So June gets my MVP today in the subtlety of that, just based on what I've noticed in this video. I like this choice right there. Really cool. And then it goes dee 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 dee. Very clear on the steps to match with a nice little like trot happening with that. Really cool. There's your boom boom. Some are accenting it out. Some are actually doing pops. Those are little things that are different. Then you have June right there. And then you have all the dancers. I love that, where you have half of them slide in, half slide out, and then that engages and allows half of them to go bye-bye. Really nice seeing that there. And it allows for some of our members to go away with them too, but they're taking a more nonchalant approach to come out. I like this part. So this is Junghan's section. S-Coups is hanging out in the back with them. Hitting through. Dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee. Cool. I like how he throws it, boom. It feels very complimentary to, he literally throws the bass. They reach the arm up to catch the bass, and they pulled good, nice. Then they take it. They're about to engage with those arms. There's a subtlety there. Some have it folded, some have it crossed. Those are subtle differences. Doesn't matter really as much at the end of the day, because I have this at 0.75. Please keep that in mind. A lot of these things that we're catching, it is because I have it and I'm pausing on demand at 0.75. If I have this at 1, and like full speed, I would probably miss a lot more than what I'm catching. So I understand that too. I like the body roll, do-do-do-doom, cool, looks nice. Taking through D, I really like the syncopation, goodbye, spicy. D, nice. Junghan's features, nice and subtle. Love the fact that he is taking it on easier here and not pushing his body too much, because having a concert dense schedule is a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot to sit through and just not even doing. So I can only imagine. Truly. I like that part with everybody up and accented. The dancers and 17 had to hold that nice and clean for that one moment in order for the dancers to branch away nice and crisply. Then Vernon having his own moment. Really nice. The dancers notice that they're done. The slide and walk with purpose. Thank you, dancers. Yes, yes, yes. Then this part right here, I was very intrigued on how we were going to get to this section with The8. The8, I think, won in the music video realm. Every time he was featured on the screen was super freaking dope, and probably my favorite parts of the whole thing on a CGI side and on a camera cinematic side. Super cool. Now this part is all, you just have to have heavy familiarity with learning how to isolate your fingers. This part right here, I do like having Vernon right there in the front. Da, 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 da. I know there was a little short that existed that showcased the tutorial on this, but it was really just 2 of the members doing it. And I think DK was one of them. And the only reason why I know this is because I think DK slaps the camera so much that it knocks it out of the person's hand. And I think that's really funny. And I like the fact they kept that in there. It feels very real, you know, because I would probably accidentally do that too. It's just funny, but I digress. So I have seen this one a little bit more up close, and it doesn't catch me off guard because I've had some time and my algorithm has adjusted accordingly to this track. But da 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 da, like the pull away is nice. They bring it back in, dun dun, and he takes it through. I really like his choices on all of this. that ba. Cool. They make the accents with the fingers. The reason why the fingers are so complementary, why I've been talking about it throughout the whole thing. They've been showcasing foreshadowing of these choices through Maestro in how they're holding it with their hands, how they're creating tension or control of their body with it. So this part right here is so complementary to the isolation of showcasing it, showcasing the8, which is really nice, but also it doesn't feel out of place at all because it feels like it fits right in as a beautiful puzzle piece, which is exactly what you want. I like that they take it and they expand it around instead of going towards the 8. They expand it around, and good on him for making a fun rotational element out of it, so it feels like it's all complementary to each other. That is a feature listening to the environment. Love it. And they always have done that pretty well. And then I think it's Hoshi who grabs the staff. Nice little party there. Da 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 and party. Da. Yeah, so it goes party and up and party da da da. Love it. The dancer's about to come back in, double it up, and I like those two having a nice complementary moment together. Yep, D. Is S-Coops about to do this section? Do I think he needs to? No. I mean, of course, this is a really dope dance break, but this is heavy, heavy syncopation and a lot of quick footwork. For somebody who has an injury that he has, I would totally not have him in this section. A little double time. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Let's see. Does he go off stage? Bringing it through. Go off stage. You're kidding! They're having him do this, or he probably chose to do it. Wow, okay. So nice, they expanded out. You have your dancers framed to the outside. But if you even notice too, the dancers don't really infiltrate the formation outside of just framing. So that's another interesting thing too, is that you don't have the dancers coming in and contributing outside of what's going on in the outskirts to justify 17 in the center. It's just different than what I'm used to. Because remember, I have a significantly heavier saturation of 17's discography compared to a lot of people because I've looked at all of their stuff in a very short amount of time. So I have all of that still fresher on my brain than when those respective routines came out initially. So I do know that because Song Gong is way fresher on my brain as something new than most people when they saw it in 2023. I saw it at the tail end of 2023, so it's way closer to this time than when it came out. I get that. Now, this house section, let's talk about it. If you want to see somebody freaking destroy this, go to Torch. Torch is the one who choreographed Rise Impossible, a lot of those tricky house sections in that piece. He does it, I don't know who he does it with, but he does this section with another guy, and it is freaking awesome. And so if you want to see somebody like really kill it, they're good people to watch if you want to watch somebody outside of 17. All right, here we go. Now this is called a loose leg. I think I've heard Torch call it a chase. I mean, I kind of feel like it's interchangeable depending on who you talk to and the variation. For me, I've heard this called a loose leg. So there we go. And I like that, honestly, they have the subtlety of the hands. Really nice. This BPM is really, really fast. Oh, okay, cool. I was literally about to say, I was like, why do we have S-Coops? He is out and about. And also Junghan. Them two do not need to be doing this section at all. It's going to be hard for me to do, and I'm an able-bodied individual. Yes, I have an ankle brace, but still. So I appreciate that we have what's going on the outsides right there. Really cool. I don't know if there's other injuries involved, but I do appreciate the complementary of that. Allowing everyone could physically probably do it. I wouldn't advise it for this context. So I'm really happy this was already programmed in. They're expanding it out. From here, they do a little double tap, similar to like a train is kind of what it looks like. Tap, tap. And then from here, they do a nice D, and then I think it's like a ball change. Not really a pas de bourrée, I don't think. It's a ball change, and they extend it, and then they do a nice little heel, lifting the other leg off the ground. Then they take it, little sweep around. Then they take it and twist it. Now, if you see Rise is Impossible, you can twist it by lifting there. It just kind of feels like they twist and making contact with the toe and the heel. Take it through heel toe, and then they scoot it together and make it expand it out. So it's kind of different than normally when you see people go out and out. It's out in, but they're making it going towards the inside, and so it's trickier because you have to pull and lift up a little bit more to get that pull up in that position in particular. So I like that part. Up, and then they take it inverted in, and then they put both weight on the heels to expand it out versus just the toe or the heel on their respective side. Then they go tip tap toe, D, and then they go in the reverse on the toes. Toe, to balls of the feet, and then dropping it back down. I love that choice. They really throw those arms back. Everybody else takes those arms, expand them up. Really nice. Then you have it through. Notice that they're all allowing their body to kind of go in opposition to allow more room for that heel toe variation to take place over on the right side. The fact is 0.75 and it's still really hard to catch it. Goodness gracious. Okay, so they take a nice heel toe. bringing it around. I don't know if it's probably not syncopate. It's just on the and counts. They pick it up. And they go a nice little kick, and then they're going to take it, drop it behind them, and then they kick it around. I really like the dancers picking up their legs to complement that kick. Then they bring it back, nice hinge in the back. My maestro, and I'm saying maestro wrong this entire, I was saying maestro. It's English, maestro. You know the name of this freaking word. I like this here. And then you have the dancers. Nice. They're framing it. It's so clean. And then you have subtlety coming from 17. As they should. I like that. It's a nice little... It's just a nice little bevel tab with a little chest roll to complement it. Pop off. And I actually like the fact they have Joshua in the center for this. He has a really good persona or character building for this particular niche of concept. He really comes across as very suave. So I actually like him being that focal point for this little choreo moment. It's cool. Dancers are building up. They're going a little bit lower. 17 is going more subtle, but I like the contrast between the two. It feels both are intentional and appropriate. Like the taps there, ding, ding, yeah. And the dancers go do, 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 do. Notice some of them have their head a little bit more forward. It could be a texture choice, but a lot of times we always want to try to fight to have our head up a little bit more to showcase more shoulder flexibility. And then everybody joins right back in. I really like that. So it's low-key a canon coming from the dancers into 17. Yeah. Cool. And then you have them dig in opposition. They dig in. They throw those arms up. Goodbye. Nice with the pulls. Then they take their arms out like this, just like what you saw with Joshua's section before. So instead of it just being him, it's everybody. So I like that choice. The dancers are still doing, you know, more lower whenever 17's higher. Dancers are lower, or they're contrasted in a different direction. So that is proper utilization of your dancers. Very much a fan of that. Yep, you have my maestro, and they take it through a nice little dig. Love that. They come back up and they slide it back in. The dancers have basket run. They take about 4 counts to get to their spot. Then there's a body roll there, and it turns into a really nice bum, 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 bum. Just peel up. Dee, 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 dee. And then you have the dancers complement what they did earlier. Guys take that more violent approach. Ladies take that more like femme posing approach. And then you have the bum, 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 bum. Then they do the same arm. That part, I appreciate the fact that everybody did the same arm and they didn't deviate, with the exception of Wonu. And I do appreciate the pass off of the conductor stick. Ding, 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 ding. He comes up and they go expand it out. And the ladies fold it down. The guys expand it behind. And then you have 17 with their hands down. So in general, the last section specifically, I think was really, really well done. The section that I think caught me the most off guard was the beginning, but it was because of the logistics of the formations than anything. But we gotta call it what it is. The fact that I can talk about this routine for an hour about just so much density or what's really cool about it just showcases the beauty of, I love the fact that I know what I know so I can appreciate it as much as I can. And also I think this is a freaking sick routine, and the fact that they're able to logistically pull something like this off like it's a regular comeback, you know, and they have so many other things coming down the pipeline too. They get a clap, some snaps, and double thumbs up from me. I love seeing it, and I think they did a fantastic job. Way to go. Before we finish out, I wanted to take a re-watch of the performance version, specifically the beginning section, because of how the one take looked. I wanted to see cinematically, just refresh my brain on some of the choices they made. We're gonna go just briefly through. I'm not gonna make it 0.75 or anything, but definitely easier to see a lot of the ISO choices, and Hoshi's control of them is really nice as well. And notice the cleanliness of their angles. That kind of stuff I wasn't worried about, and I still am not worried about at this point either, because I know when it comes to choreo versions like this, it's going to be the cleanliness that it needs to be, because they've showcased competency in that field for well over a decade at this point. So I think that is, or almost pretty much near a decade. And I think, you know, even with injuries and stuff, they're going to showcase, at least in the upper body, competency within that. So I'm not worried about that. I never really was. I really do like this close-up here. That's really cool, where he goes and takes the fingers, and he goes a little da-da-da-da-da. That was fun. Didn't quite see that in the full take, but I really liked seeing that there. And when you look, it does feel like a lot of the choices that they're doing, that's very clear and intentional. Love that. Yep, with the switch. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Boom, boom. The subtlety is really nice, so all of that. But this beginning group, you notice that it makes sense why they have them overlapped like this formationally in this video, because it feels that what they're doing in movement, it's not, because we're doing such a close-up on this trio, by having these guys too far out, it's going to feel a little bit empty or unbalanced in comparison to if they are where they are. We can see them complement other parts of the track, so there's polyrhythms in play, but it's distributed amongst different groups outside of just one group hitting it all. So I understand that choice right there. Do you see what I mean? Like, I get it, but whenever you see this outside of this context, it does look very muddled, you know, just calling it what it is. So that's the beauty of cinema, for sure. And then right here, they very cleanly go into the next group. Once again, you see a lot of this stuff right here very environmentally complement what's going on because of the angle in which this was shot. So that's what I'm going to lock in for myself. I'm so curious about the inside look on this. And then pick it up, doom, da-da-da-do, boom. Yeah, and he goes, da-da-da-da-da-da. That felt way more gimmicky, more camera play. I totally see that. Looks really nice. Now, I think there's one more thing. Ah, there we go. Look how clean this is. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I didn't get to see. Because you notice on this side, they had it had a little bit lower in the full cam. But notice here, golly, wow, we're going to just admire this. That's beautiful. This is freaking clean. God, I love that. That's beautiful. Yep. Now, I'm not going to do the whole video like this because I think there's too much camera manipulation for me to appreciate the choreography, the way that it looks on a regular human body. Like, we're just going to chalk it up to that too. But this stuff we can appreciate because I already analyzed it. You know what I mean? And this is really cool. The subtlety in that, the body rolls look really nice, the kicking it through. So all of this definitely got nice and fresh and clean and crisp in this context. And I think the camera angle, when it's a little bit lower and you can see the columns with the angles of the hands, I think that makes a huge difference in this section. Yeah. So this does feel, once again, with Vernon's sections, it gives off, like, he has a very different modified approach to it, but I love the fact that he has that subtlety. Then this right here, God, the stoicness of this is gorgeous. Yeah, the panning of that is just nice. Really, really nice. Love that. They bleed it through, blah, da, 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 really nice. Building up the boom, boom. So that, also with the textiles of the fits, really help with the fullness of some of those choices. You know, and that's fine. I would say with DK's outfit specifically, if you look at how his looks, that right there, his really makes it look nice and full. You and I, the double it up, looks really nice. Cool. I think we'll probably go through this all the way until that's that clean. At least like the first half of that cannon was a lot cleaner there. Of course, we know that. Na, na, na. Oh, sorry, that's Sungwon's part. My maestro. Yep, and then this will be the last thing we look at, because all this is going to be like the camera vroom, and they, you know, you notice he does stuff so different. This, I will bet your bottom dollar they had to pause the music, or that music was modified to where they have to hold that to get that camera over like that so they can continue. That right there too. Dee freeze, boom, Dee. Jordan Orme talks about it too. I really think that's what they had to do because it's really cool. La 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 la. Cool. So pretty much that's really the only thing I wanted to touch on, was just this whole beginning section, because it was the most difficult to translate onto stage compared to everything else. It felt like once the dancers came on, it felt good. We felt good, but that beginning felt a little bit harder to read. I think this is why. It's because of how it was programmed for the cinematic direction of it. I love it. I love it in both contexts, but I think it's really cool seeing it here. But I really love seeing one takes and appreciating the art of the choreo too. So all that to say, had a freaking blast with this. Love the fact I have two different versions to look at and enjoy with you guys. This was awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more 17, I have so much of it that is on YouTube, but all of my 17 reactions are on Patreon, including this video. This one gets released first on Patreon for almost a day before it goes up live on YouTube. That's kind of how comebacks work with K-pop now, which I think is really cool. So if you're somebody that wants to get in as I make these reaction videos and as I get them out, Patreon's perfect for that. But if you're fine with waiting it out and seeing what comes up on YouTube, I will be there hanging out and enjoying the ride with y'all. Most likely I will probably do an excerpt of this choreo because it looks really fun, especially that house dance break. Really syncopated, very much a weight shift challenge in and of itself, so I may give that a try, we'll see. But the course also, I think, definitely has a lot of niche tension in it. I think would be a different challenge too. So I may learn both, we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited to take a look at more of their work. I know they have more work coming down the pipeline this month, and so I can't wait to see what that entails. Once again, my name is Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.